Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a look at a company you have definitely seen, even if you didn't realize it at the time. I'm talking about Evergreen Marine Corporation. Yeah, one of those giants that literally moves our world. So, how does a company that started out with just a single, secondhand ship become this global powerhouse? Well, we're going to break down the exact strategic playbook that got them there, and more importantly, how they're positioning themselves for what's next. And powerhouse is definitely the right word. I mean, Evergreen is the seventh largest ocean carrier on the entire planet. That makes them a massive player, controlling a huge slice of the world's shipping capacity. All right, to really get what they're doing with their strategy, first we have to just wrap our heads around the sheer scale of their operation. It's huge. Okay, these numbers, they really tell a story, don't they? That 2024 net income, it tripled to $3.4 billion. And that's not just some number on a spreadsheet, that's the fuel for Evergreen's entire future. See, they're using this incredible financial strength to fund a massive two-part strategy. Part one, double down on what's working today. Part two, make some absolutely gigantic bets on what's going to work tomorrow. So, where is all that steady profit coming from? Well, let's start with the foundation of their business, those reliable engines, or cash cows as they're often called, that just generate predictable profit, year in and year out. Right here, you can see the absolute core of their operation. We're talking about those well-established, high-volume shipping routes, super efficient terminal management, and of course, their massive existing fleet. These are the mature, reliable parts of the business that just consistently churn out cash. And that cash flow, it's absolutely crucial for funding everything that's coming next. So where is all that cash going? It's not just being handed out in dividends, that's for sure. It's being plowed into a massive, multi-billion-dollar expansion that is, well, it's truly staggering in scale. First up, get this, a massive $5 billion bet on the future of fuel. They've placed an order for 24 methanol dual-fuel ships. Now, what does that mean? It means these ships can run on conventional fuel today, but they're built ready for cleaner-burning green methanol the moment it becomes widely available. It is a huge, huge step towards decarbonization. And it's not just about greener fuel either. In total, their order book is adding over 820,000 TEU of new capacity. And a TEU, in case you're wondering, is a 20-foot equivalent unit. It's basically the standard size of a shipping container. So yeah, we're talking about enough space for almost 1 million more containers out on the water. Wow. This is all part of a huge strategic investment program that comes in at over $13.9 billion. And the goal here is pretty simple. Create a totally modernized, AI-ready fleet that's built for the next generation of shipping. So the crucial point here is that this isn't just about getting bigger for the sake of getting bigger. No way. This is a real strategic shift. They're building one of the largest order books in the entire world, and they're moving from just chartering ships to owning them, which gives them way more control. They're basically cementing their leadership on the most profitable routes. It's all about building a smarter, more dominant fleet for the future. And this brings us to the really interesting part, right? The high-risk, high-reward part of the strategy. This is where Evergreen's plan gets genuinely futuristic. They're placing some serious bets on technologies that could, honestly, redefine the entire industry. You can see on this timeline that their approach is super deliberate, very methodical. First, they spent years mastering automation on land. Think about projects like the fully automated Terminal 7 in Taiwan. Then, starting in 2025, they plan to take all that intelligence and bring it out to sea with a huge autonomous navigation trial. It's a classic move, mastered on land, then deployed at sea. And their approach to clean energy, it's just as strategic. They're not putting all their eggs in one basket. They're making a really pragmatic choice for today by investing heavily in LNG-powered ships, because that reduces emissions right now. But at the same time, they're making a long-term bet on green methanol. That's how they're positioning themselves to hit that ambitious 2050 net zero target. But of course, a transformation this big doesn't come without risk. I mean, to fund these huge bets, Evergreen has to deal with the underperforming parts of its business, what strategists like to call the dogs. And they have to do it all while navigating a super volatile global market. So to power all this future growth, Evergreen is being really strategic about shedding its dogs, the underperforming parts of the business.
We're talking about selling off older, less fuel-efficient ships for scrap and finally replacing those outdated IT systems that just eat up resources without adding any real value.
At the exact same time, they're facing some serious external headwinds. This quote really hits the nail on the head. There's some real skepticism from customers about whether these huge shipping alliances actually benefit them. I mean, after the crazy price surges we saw during COVID and with the Red Sea diversions, trust is pretty low. And that is a major risk for any company at the top.
And if you look at this chart, you can see exactly why shippers are getting concerned. Starting in 2025, the whole market is going to be dominated by just a handful of major players. Evergreen's own group, the Ocean Alliance, controls around 30% of all capacity. That kind of concentration of power, well, that's a huge dynamic shaping the entire industry.
And all of this leaves us with one final and really crucial question. There's a flood of new ships from all the big carriers that's about to hit the water, and that could easily lead to a market oversupply. So the big bet Evergreen is making is this, that its massive investment, its high-tech, green, AI-ready fleet will give it the competitive edge it needs to sail right through those challenges and lock in its position as a leader in global trade. The race is officially on.